a strong candidate at all. He's an embarrassment to black people, and he'd definitely be an embarrassment to the Republican Party. But Republicans like those kind of black people who are embarrassments because then they can manipulate them very easy, and then they can, break them when they get done. Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black, and I'll show you guys a picture of Gary Black. He's definitely not black at all.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and watch it all the way through to the end. And if you're subscribed, make sure you hit the square at the end of the video. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit one of the circles, all right? So what we got here is an article from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And guess who it's about? Herschel Walker. Man, I told you he was a tool about to get broken. So the unfortunate events, I don't know, maybe they're fortunate, who knows, just keep on happening to this buck. You know what I'm saying? The first thing was a bunch of articles came out that Mitch McConnell was behind getting those circulated. And the delusional Marjorie Taylor Greene thought she could save him. She can't. Now it looks like his wife may be in a little bit of trouble for voting in Georgia while they were living in Texas. Now, I find it interesting. Herschel Walker has said a lot of things, right? You know, this dude he's right up there with Larry Elder. And speaking of Larry Elder, you know, Larry Elder is a lawyer. Where is he at to help Herschel Walker out in this situation? Help his wife. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? He made the statement that anybody who engages in voter fraud should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I think that prosecution should start with his loved one. That's what I think. That's what I think. Especially, you know, I mean, this guy is one of those pull it up by the bootstrap guys, and slavery didn't happen. It made black people better. We actually should be paying white people instead of them paying us. Yeah, I think your wife should go, bro. And I don't think you should be allowed to visit her either. But that's just my opinion. I don't run the world. Hopefully I never do. All right. So this is an article from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and it says Walker's wife voted in Georgia as couple lived in Texas, records show. Now I'm curious. I'd like to know who was digging into this. Somebody had to be looking into this. Could it have been Mitch McConnell and his people? Probably. Potential Republican U.S. Senate candidate Herschel Walker and his wife live in Texas, but she voted in Georgia's election for president last fall. The absentee ballot cast by Julie Blanchard raises questions about whether she was allowed to vote in Georgia while living in Texas. It's illegal for non-residents to vote in Georgia in most circumstances. The questionable vote could undercut one of Walker's main talking points if he enters the race against Democratic U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock, who is up for a full term in November 2022. Now, I'm curious. I find it interesting that none of these mainstream media outlets have any idea whether she's a resident in Texas and a resident in Georgia. She may not be, though. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen, but it'll be the same thing that happens with all of these bootlicks, you know, especially these bootlicks that kiss the right boots. She won't get charged. This will fall under the radar. Nobody will do any follow up, and Herschel Walker will still be left to go around and spew his word salad of nonsense that he always does. Walker has called for prosecutions of voter fraud, even though there is no evidence of rampant abuse. Well, guess what? Now there's evidence that your wife was voting for affairs in a place where she wasn't living at the time. So now we need to investigate into your wife. Now I'm curious. I wonder if Herschel Walker has released an official statement about how that makes him feel. And he's promoted other false claims of voting irregularities by former President Donald Trump, who has encouraged him to enter the race. Play by the rules. The American people demand only legal ballots be counted. Anyone manipulating this election should be prosecuted. Walker wrote on Twitter in November. Well, babe, looks like that could be your wife. Looks like that could be your wife. Election records show that Blanchard used her Atlanta address to return an absentee ballot, which she mailed in October from the couple's residence in Westlake, Texas. Blanchard also owns a home near Buckhead. Isn't that interesting? She owns a home right near the area where the white people are trying to kick all of the black people out. Is anybody surprised about that? If we're residents in both places, is that legally wrong? Blanchard said when reached by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Monday. If you have multiple homes, can't you vote where you have a home? Now, that's interesting. And I think she might actually have a point. But it's interesting, though, that she wouldn't have voted where she was at. Or I wonder if she did vote where she was at. I wonder if she voted in Texas and in Atlanta. And I wonder if that's legal or not. And, you know, that's just odd. You know what I mean? Why, if you're in Texas and living in Texas, why would you even want to vote in the election in Georgia if you're currently living in Texas? Like, it may not be illegal. She may have manipulated the rules because we all know that they wrote the rules so that they can manipulate them. But what kind of sense does that make? You live in Georgia, you feel like you need to influence, or you live in Texas, you feel like you need to influence the election in Georgia. That's going to somehow help you if you're spending most of your time in Texas. Or do you just want to exert power because, you know, you just come from that? I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? Blanchard followed up Tuesday saying she considers herself a resident of Georgia, where she has a driver's license, owns a car, and does business. She didn't answer questions about whether she spends more time at her Georgia or Texas property. Of course. And see, this is what I'm talking about them manipulating the rules. I'll pick and choose which questions that I ask. So her not answering basically answers the question, and it says, yes, she spends more time in Texas, despite the fact that she owns property that she probably stole in Georgia, probably hand-me-down stolen land that her family probably stole when they first infected the United States. Before last year's election, Blanchard hadn't voted in Georgia since 2008. See, I figured that. So all of a sudden she wants to vote in Georgia in 2020. Her Georgia voter registration was canceled in 2017 because of inactivity. She re-registered in 2019. It was unclear whether she was automatically registered when she renewed her Georgia's driver's license. She's not registered to vote in Texas. State law determines residency based on where a voter's habitation is fixed, and those who move to another state with the intention of making it their residence lose their eligibility to vote in Georgia. Blanchard and Walker purchased their Texas property in 2011 and received a homestead exemption on their property taxes, according to public records. Homestead exemptions are granted to homeowners that for their legal residence. Homeowner exemptions are granted to homeowners for their legal residence. Blanchard didn't claim a homestead exemption on her Fulton County property last year. I find it interesting. I don't know, are Blanchard and Walker married? Because if they are married, I'm trying to figure out why this cuck Walker let this woman keep her last name. I mean, do you have a backbone at all, you dillweed? The Georgia Secretary of State's office didn't immediately comment Monday on whether Blanchard was under investigation. Probably not. This is just a scare tactic. Blanchard and Walker married in Texas in May, according to public records. Walker was previously married to Cindy Grossman before their divorce in 2002. Walker, who has lived in Texas for decades, has hinted for months that he might move to Georgia to run for the U.S. Senate. And Trump said the former University of Georgia football star would be unstoppable. Looks like Mitch McConnell's doing a pretty good job of stopping him. But there are increasing signs that the state's Republican establishment is growing tired of waiting on Walker to decide on a run. and unconvinced that he would be a strong candidate, even with Trump's support. I don't think he'd be a strong candidate at all. He's an embarrassment to black people, and he'd definitely be an embarrassment to the Republican Party. But Republicans like those kind of black people who are embarrassments because then they can manipulate them very easy, and then they can, break them when they get done. So I don't understand why they're acting like they don't have a vested interest and how much of a lame this dude is, because these kind of people, Republicans and Democrats, they go around looking for lame black people just for that specific purpose. Manipulate them to do whatever it is that they want for them to do while they're on the world stage, and then embarrass them to where they can't do anything else in life while they're on that stage. That's what these politicians do. Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black, and I'll show you guys a picture of Gary Black. He's definitely not black at all. You know what I'm saying? He probably his family probably owned a lot of blacks, and that's probably why he got his last name Black. But there's nothing black about this dude, probably other than his soul and his heart. Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black is the best known of the three Republicans already in the contest. The other two are military veterans Kelvin King and Latham Sadler. Former U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler and U.S. Representative Buddy Carter are also considering joining the race against Warnock, who has unified Democratic support and a campaign war chest of more than $10.5 million. Black, who has won endorsements from former Governor Nathan Deal and dozens of sheriffs, recently became the first GOP candidate to publicly criticize Walker. He called on the Texan to move to Georgia, register, and vote in some elections and learn what Georgians have on their mind before entering the race. I mean, in my opinion, I don't like taking sides with some, descendant of slave masters just deciding to publicly, I'm white and I say so, towards a black dude. But Herschel Walker is a piece of crap. I really don't care about anybody criticizing him. And actually, this racist trash right here actually made a point. He should actually live in Georgia for a while and figure things out there before he decides to start running and thinking he's going to dictate, because Georgia is a different state than Texas. But you got to understand that he didn't say that from a place of trying to make Herschel Walker better. He said that from a place of racism and hatred. Aside from few appearances on Fox News, Walker hasn't acted like a candidate. He skipped grassroots Republican events, including a recent key gathering in Rome, as a growing number of Republicans raised concerns about pinning their hopes on an untested candidate with a violent, erratic past. Walker, though, has said he's in no rush to make up his mind, and a recent survey by the left-leaning public policy polling showed he's neck and neck with Warnock in a hypothetical matchup, thanks to Walker's soaring name recognition. All right, so that's pretty interesting. My question for you guys is, what do you think about that? I told you in the last video that I did about this idiot that, he was going to get in trouble. Mitch McConnell had his eye on him, and there's nothing that Marjorie Taylor Greene can do about it. And, looks like they're digging even more. I don't know who it was that found this. The election has been over for a while now, and nobody said anything about it. And I'm curious as to who looked this up. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. If you've watched any of my other videos about Herschel Walker, let me know, was my prediction accurate or was it inaccurate? All right. And I will catch you all on the next video.